This isn't just school by Chael here, okay? This isn't just my thoughts and I'm pushing them on people. Every single idea and suggestion I give to you, if you challenge me on, I will show you a historical time when that theory has paid off. And people just aren't paying attention. We just discussed it on this show. Right now, in 2018, to become the number one contender for Cyborg's belt, all you have to do is call out Cyborg. That's it. Now, if I was to tell you there was a time in sports when you could have a world championship opportunity, and all you had to do is say, I'd like that. You go, well, Chael, when was that? What kind of unformed developing sport are you possibly referring to? What book did you get this information from? I'd love to check the author's sources. That had to be the 1940s. That must have been the 1800s. No, right here, 2018. Mixed martial arts, UFC. If you'd like to fight for a world championship and you'd like to do it against Chris Cyborg, just raise your hand and tell people, I'll do it. We are to the point right now where they are going to people. Resumes be damned. And do you want to do it? And they're having to call multiple people. Amanda Nunes just said, I'd like to do that. Boom, done. Done. I'm Dana White. I hate taking people out of their divisions. Yeah, I'll do that. Hey, I'm Dana White. You got a fight coming up. Forget. I'll scratch it. You want that? Boom, I'll get whatever it takes. If you want to fight for a world title, and it's in Cyborg's division right now in 2018, all you have to do is say, I want that fight. It will be your fight. That's it. The Iron Lady left the sport to not have to do it. Holly Holm moved up to the division because she was willing to do it. They brought over that girl from Invicta because she was willing to do it. They want to give it to Amanda because she was willing to do it. That's where we're at right now. So this isn't just me talking. You can just look. This is where the landscape for that division's at. That is a remarkably exciting opportunity. I never had that in my career. I would love to have it. I wouldn't have missed it if I saw it. I just didn't have it. I had other guys we're competing with. Sometimes you could do it in a war of words. Sometimes you had to. Sometimes I'd beaten the top guy, but another guy'd beaten some top guys too. So who's going to get the shot? I don't have a fight scheduled, but neither is he, and one of us next contract is going to be for that shot. So all I've got is a microphone and some cameras. That's how we're going to figure this out. Then if that's the rules, then let's go. Somebody tell me when that red light is blinking. That's the spot that you're usually in. These girls are in a different one. They're in a different one. And I would argue to you they are at 115 pounds too. And if they've got the Henry Cejudo complex, that they want to come out and they're dead set on this vision, and they're not able to see that eventually you're not going to be in this sport anymore. And in this sport, you need to grab a hold. That flag that you're wrapping around your shoulders from 2008, Henry, lay it on the ground. Fill it up with money. Bring the quarters in like a knapsack, throw it over your shoulder, and figure out the rest later because those days are limited. This isn't a commentary on Henry. He's just a fine example of a handsome, talented, opportunity-given young man who did everything wrong when it came to marketing his career. Everything. And whatever vision he went for, I know what it was. It was just this nice guy, little boy that went out and made. That was 2008. He's not a little boy anymore. Now he's a grown-ass man. And he's not some nice guy out there in a wrestling singlet. He's a dirty, rotten cage fighter just like the rest of them. He just won't embrace it. He just won't accept it. And whatever that is fine. But when this story ends, and it's going to be a hell of a lot sooner than you think, you're not going to have anything to show for it except missed opportunity. And you can block the biggest advice giver in the entire business that's got the whole thing figured out and sits in this studio twice a week and passes it to the rest of you for free. Or you can listen to something you don't want to hear and change your career. If you tell me I don't care who I fight next, and that's your attitude, I know what your message is. Your message is, I am so brave and bold. It can be anybody. I don't care who it is. I know that that's your message. I know that's your tough guy fake message before you and your manager hide behind your phone and your computers and turn down your next 3 fights because you're actually a chicken. You just don't want to look like one on TV. I get what you're doing there. But it's not what you said. What you said is you don't care. If you don't care, there's no way I can. As a fan, if you don't care who you fight, then I can't care who you fight. And that's the bigger problem there. You go look at Ben Askren, okay? Ben Askren studies these kinds of things. Ben Askren executes these kinds of things. Ben Askren has never not been a main event that I can remember. Certainly somewhere in his career he wasn't. And certainly somewhere in his career he climbed the ladder and had to do co-main event fights. Certainly. I've never missed one of his fights. I got a pretty good memory. I can't remember him not being a main event. I realize I am forgetting, but you get my point here? He follows the script. He knows what he's doing. He knows when it's time to train. He knows when it's time to make weight. He knows when it's time to fight. And he knows when it's time to play a hand in steering his own career. He headlines shows and he sells out arenas. Some guys won't sit back and they'll study him. They'll sit back and want to know, how did he do that takedown? And why is he keeping all these guys down? And how come he's so hard to hit? Those are great things to study. But at the end of his fight, keep the tape rolling and see what he does next. And figure out, why is that son of a bitch always the main event? Figure out what his secret is, because he's got some. Kevin Lee has got to compete with Barboza, Eddie, Poirier, Ferg, Connor, and still might come out on top of this thing. He might, but he's got a long list of guys. Whoever in the hell's at 115 sitting behind Joanna and Rose just has to step forward. Whoever in the hell at 145, and apparently that's a hard thing to do, and I don't like to call the women chickens, so I don't. I just don't. I kind of sit back and enjoy the division, but I don't try to critique it because I feel like there's a weird push and pull, me being a male and them being female, and I just, right there, I feel like there's an equity here, and so I try to stay away from it, but I will go to the men. A lot of them just are chickens. They just don't want to do it. I don't love to say that about the women, but Jacob, it sure appears like maybe it's the fitting title. The fact that they say, I want to do this and I want to do that, and they're signed up and registered and won't raise their hand and get in there with Cyborg, it is a chance for a world title. If you're not here for that, what are you here for? I don't know. I can answer it for the guys, because I am one. I can just relate a little bit better. I don't know what's going on there with the females. I've never seen a better opportunity. We're talking about Ben Askren a second ago. Ben Askren's going around the world grabbing any microphone he can, calling out George St. Pierre. That's the fight that he wants. And he's telling everybody, and he will do anything to get it. Any amount of media, any amount of fights, anybody in any organization, on any continent, in anybody's ring, under any rule set you want to do to get me closer to my goal. And he's got politics and bureaucracy in his way. Hard spot he's in, and he's fighting through it. Could you imagine what it must be like to carry that water that a Ben Askren is carrying and to turn your head to the left and see there's a division sitting right there where you can have every single thing he wants, every single thing he's after, and all you got to do is this, stick your hand in the air. That's all you have to do. And you are guaranteed 100% lock, stock, and barrel to get it. You are guaranteed by default to be the other person in a Cyborg fight. And take Cyborg out of it. Take her out of it. It's a world championship fight. It's going to be at worst a co-main event. In a world championship fight. In a sport that you said you wanted to be a world champion in. It is the rarest of opportunities. There is not a football team in the history of Earth that could just raise their hand and say, I want to play for the Super Bowl. There's not an NBA team that's ever been able to raise their hand and say, stick us in the playoffs. There's not an NHL team. There is an opportunity right now because of the architecture of mixed martial arts to raise your hand and do it. And they either are too scared, too intimidated, or too dumb. Those aren't great options, but they're the only ones on the table. The same thing is happening at 115. They are too intimidated or too unreceptive to the way the business works. And apparently their managers are too. Apparently their managers haven't grabbed them and said, you weigh 115. Nobody else is known in the division. Well, sure, Lucy over here has won 10 in a row. Nah, she didn't, though. Well, yeah, she did. She didn't. If the people don't know then she didn't. It's perception. And apparently they don't know to grab them and say, you're the new face. That's it. That's it. Why am I the face? Because nobody else said they are. Always remember this example. Who's the greatest boxer of all time?
Muhammad Ali.
You're goddamn right he is. And do you want to know why?
Because he called the shots.
Because he said he was.
I'm the greatest.
And this is the most important, don't forget this part. Muhammad Ali is the greatest of all time and will always be referred to as the greatest of all time because he was the first to say it. Okay? It's not just that he said it. He was the first to say it. And it's like Marshall Mathers once said, they can walk like me, talk like me, dress, act, not give a dang like me, and they just might be the next best thing, but they are not quite me. You will never beat a guy to first who already went there. You just can't. It's the one record you can never beat. Everything gets beat. Well, I got 5 championships. Well, a guy finally came along and grabbed 6. The one championship, the one title that can never go away is first. Well, he was the first guy to do a 4-minute mile. God be damned for the guys that could destroy that record. He was first. Muhammad Ali will go down because it's just perception. We'll never know how he'd do with Mike Tyson. We'll never know if they were the same weight. How would have he done with Floyd Mayweather? We'll never know. Perception is he was number 1. Marketing got him there. He said he was the best ever, the greatest. And he said it first. That's the message here. Be the first to say you want Cyborg. Because you haven't done that, maybe we got to put the chicken label on you then, right? Maybe it isn't a lack of intelligence. Maybe it just is I'm scared and don't want to do it. I don't think people are as scared of Rose. Rose is a very sweet and nice girl. If you're not scared of Rose, and I don't think she is misintimidating, I don't think those girls are scared of her. If you're not scared of her, but you haven't inserted yourself in that, and we've fully acknowledged intellectually that you've only got 2 options. You got the either I'm intimidated or I'm not smart enough to know how this works. That's what you're left with. Apparently you don't know how this works. So if some 115-pounder would like to be fighting Rose next, come out and say it. And Jacob and I will get behind it. And then the next guys will. And Joe Rogan, who listens to this show, will go repeat it on his. And that's how it works. It will get passed down from one to the next, and you'll become the number 1 contender. And you won't have to throw a punch. And you can thank me later. I didn't create these rules. I just paid attention to them. That is the landscape. I have had, you know what? I'm actually really irritated, Jacob. I'm actually really irritated, and I don't have the right to be. Today is my wife's birthday. I've got something special planned. Thank you for that. I will pass that message to her. I have something special planned. I want to go and have a nice day. For whatever reason, and I guess I'm left to carry this burden with me. My cross to bear, but it pisses me off when somebody's in the business and doesn't understand the business. And I do not hold fighters to a very high level of intellect. I just don't. And I happen to respect and really like Henry Cejudo, for the record. But it is called the Henry Cejudo complex, where you can't get over your own goddamn way. When you think people are, I want people to think I'm a nice guy. Henry, nobody knows who you are. I'm a wrestling fan, so I happen to know. I happen to really admire what you did. Nobody knows who you are, so who these 3 people are that think you're a really nice young man, do you really want to squander your entire goddamn career away to appease them? You don't have any fans. So whoever it is that you're trying to impress with this, boy, that Henry sure was a nice kid. Go ahead and do it. But when all is said and done, and you're struggling to make your car payment, because you sustained an injury and now you're no longer in this business that doesn't come with a retirement plan. I don't want to hear about it. And if that's the trade you're trying to make, I'll back off of you right now. If you come to the table right now and you tell me I do not care about my future, I am not in this for the money. I have 3 people who know who in the hell I am. They all think I'm a really sweet and nice guy. I just don't want to let them down. And whatever comes after that, be damned, I'm okay with it. All right, cool. We're done here. Fair enough. But if you do come from the spot that I know you come from, which is you think you have a monetizable gimmick that just hasn't caught on yet, you're wrong. And it's irritating. And you can choose to shut me out, or you can be like the rest of the fighters that tune in, and I will hand you the answer. I will hand you the cliff notes. I don't deserve to be pissed off right now, Jacob. I don't. I haven't done anything wrong. It's my wife's birthday. I'm going to go have a great day. But when you get me on this topic and have to sit around and watch these fighters, and I'm jealous. I can't raise my goddamn hand and go in there and fight for a world championship.
You've got a Grand Prix ahead
You know
of
what
you.
I had to do to fight for world championships?
You got 3 guys in front of you.
You know how much money I lost? I'm telling you, at the time that I did it, it was before the sport exploded. Do you know the losses that I took? You know the things I had to sacrifice? I don't mean to make it about me. I'm trying to make it about them. I'm just trying to personalize it for you. That I know what it's like and I know how hard it is. And I'm watching my friend Ben Askren, who can't get a goddamn opportunity, and he's never lost a fight. And he's got bureaucracy holding him back and red tape. And he would do anything for it. He would walk through fire for it. And you have people in this sport that all they have to do is raise their goddamn hand. And they're too dumb or they're too chicken to do it. And either one of them should disqualify them. If you don't have the guts to do it, then get out of the business. And if you don't have the smarts to do it, get out of the business. And if you hired a manager who hasn't told you the things that I just told you right now, and you're at 145 pounds or you're 115 pounds, get them out of your business. Quit writing them their checks because they don't know what the hell they're doing. Listen to me each week and save the money because I don't need it.